Good evening, sir. So, we are from Group 3. We'll present to you about N chapter of the business law.
Hello, my name is Naim Ataullah bin Sharif. My metric number is 208023F1051. Question 1. Aaron was instructed to find a buyer for a bungalow belonging to Smith for a selling price not less than 1 million ringgit. He had been promised with a brokerage for a 5% of the selling price of the house if he was able to execute the selling accounting to the give instructions. Rania attempted to buy the house by offering 1 million ringgit, whereas Elena, who is also interested, had placed a later offer of the same amount. In assuring that the house would be her, Elena promised Aaron an additional commissions of 10,000 loot with the promised gift. Aaron accepted Elena's offer without communicating the additional commissions and Rania offer to his principals. When this was discovered by Smith, he who was in utter justifications one issue of this case, whether Smith can sue Aaron for a compensation and return for damage. Sections 135 of the Contract Act 1950. An agent is a person employed to do any act for another or to represent another in dealing with a third person. The person for whom such act is done or who is so represented is called the principals. Sections 168 of the Contract Act 1950. If any agent deal on his own account in the business of the agency without first obtaining the consent of his principals and equating his with all material circumstances which have come to his own knowledge on the subject, the principals may repudiate the transactions if the case show either that any material fact has been dishonestly concealed from harm by the agents or that the dealing of the agents have been disadvantageous to him.
The case for question 1 is Tan Kyong Hwa against Andrew S. H. Chong, 1974. The facts: the plaintiff bought a flat from a company of which the defendant was the managing director. The plaintiff later authorized the defendant as his agent to sell that flat for $54 and the difference of $9,000 was credited to the company. The company went into liquidation. The court held that the plaintiff was entitled to recover $9,000 from the defendant as the defendant had breached his duty as an agent. The application, therefore, Smith may resign the contract and sue Aaron for damages under Section 168 of the Contract Act 1950 if an agent acts on his own account without the principal's consent and fails to disclose all material circumstances. The principal may repudiate the transaction. In this case, Smith may repudiate the contract as Aaron did not obtain his consent for the additional commission. The conclusion: therefore, Smith may resign the contract and sue Aaron for damages. Under Section 168 of the Contract Act 1950, if an agent acts on his own account without the principal's consent and fails to disclose all material circumstances, the principal may repudiate the transaction. In this case, Smith may repudiate the contract as Aaron did not obtain his consent for the additional commission. Therefore, Smith may resign the contract and sue Aaron for damages. Under Section 168 of the Contract Act 1950, if an agent acts on his account without the principal's consent and fails to disclose all material circumstances, the principal may repudiate the transaction. In this case, Smith may repudiate the contract as Aaron did not obtain his consent for the additional commission. Referring to the Tan Hwa against Andrew S. H. Chong case, the court held that the plaintiff was entitled to recover damage, and the same applies to Smith.
So I'm the next presenter. My name is Muhammad Fikri Noriman bin Azri. My matrix number is 20-8023F1021. So I will present question 2. Aidan wants to raise money. He had appointed Danny and mercantile agent and instructed him to sell his Range Rover car to any interested party for a price not less than 500,000. In achieving that purpose, Aiden had instructed Dani disarrange Rover car together with the cars. She who met Dani had purchased the car for a price of 480,000 after being certified and convinced by Dani that he is allowed to sell it under the started price. When this was discovered by Aiden, he angrily confronted Lisa and demanded remaining price to be paid or the car to be returned. Lisa refused to do so, advised Aiden accordingly. So next issue for this question is whether Aiden can sue Lisa demanded remaining price to be paid. So the section is section 27 subsection 1 of the Sale of Goods Act 1957 Act 382. Subject to this act and of any other law for the time being in force, where goods are sold by a person who is not owner thereof and who does not sell them under the authority or with the consent of the owner, the buyer acquires no better title to the goods than the seller had, unless the owner of the goods is by his conduct precluded from denying the seller's authority to sell, provided that where a mercantile agent is, with the consent of the owner, in possession of the goods or of a document of title to the goods, any sales made by him when acting in the ordinary course of business of a mercantile agent shall be as valid as if he were expressly authorized by the owner of the goods to make them same, provided that the buyer acts in good faith and has not at the time of the contract of sale noticed that the seller has no authority to sell.
Case Flock vs. King. Faith. Flock owned a car and he had it to a mercantile agent for sale, and the price must be not less than 575 pounds sterling. A letter sold this car to King from the price of 340 pounds sterling, which by in good faith and without notice of any recession. A letter escort with the money Flock claimed from King. Help. Since all the requirements are satisfied, King get good title. Application. Under Section 27 of the Sale of Goods Act 1957, if mercantile agent with the owner concerned possess the good or a title document for the good, any sale made by the agent in the normal course of their business will be considered as valid as if the owner had directly authorized it. This holds true as long as the buyer purchased the good in good faith and is unaware at the time of the sale that the agent lacked authorized to sell. Conclusion. Thus, Aiden cannot demand that Lisa pay the remaining balance or return the car. Instead, Aiden can seek damage from Dani. Apply Section 27 of the Sale of Goods Act 1957. Any sale conducted by Dani in the regular course of his business as a mercantile agent is demand valid as if Aiden had directly authorized it. Here, Dani breached his contract by failing to inform Aiden that he lowered the car price. In the case of Flock vs. King, Flock, a mercantile agent, also breached his contract by reducing the price without notifying his principal. The court ruled that King acquired good title, as he acted in good faith and was unaware of any restriction. Similar, Lisa obtained good title in this case, as she purchased the car in good faith without knowing about any price limitation due to Danny influencer.